Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 117. I'm your host, back in the basement with my co-host and teenage son, Jack, playing a video game, I think. How are you? Maybe.
That's a possibility.
Nice.
I mean,
it always is.
Sounds like something I might do.
Right. Well, we are back. It's going to be a little bit different this week if you're a regular listener, and why wouldn't you be? Because we were at Dynamite this week, right? So one of our main things is to review
International
Dynamite, right? First International Dynamite in Toronto. We were there on Wednesday night, so we don't have our usual like very detailed notes, move for move type of stuff that Jack takes. I'm just gonna pull somebody else's quick recap and go from there. So we'll talk about that, and I guess we could banter about stuff that won't come up in the review. I would say you were disappointed by the merchandise at Dynamite, correct? Explain, elaborate.
They had some cool shirts, but I think
did.
they should have had more, and I was hoping maybe they bring some figures there.
So what did they have? They had literally had like what?
The one you're wearing, which is the Elite with a Canadian flag. Kind of spliced in, and they had like a AEW Toronto shirt, which they do shirts for like everything.
Right.
Like I saw someone with a New York one that said
and you got one of those.
Buffalo. And I got one of those, and they had an AEW hoodie, which is like a white logo, which I think is kind of cool. And then they had a kind of a group.
It's basically like
a
five
shirt,
t-shirts
and then like a hat,
and a hoodie and a hat, and that was it.
Yeah.
So the only like factions or people that got shirts.
Oh, there's a Blackpool shirt.
A Blackpool shirt and the Elite, and that was it. Other than that, it was just Canadian.
Which is an odd choice.
It was strange.
The Elite are.
The venue I thought was a good size, not huge. Our seats were better than I thought.
Sick,
we were kind of 8th row from the.
Other than that stupid light, I wanted to murder that light.
So there were like 4 rows on the floor in front of us, and then we were on the 3rd row past that, which is on sort of a elevated whatever with steps.
Yeah,
so it was.
We're not quite on the floor, but like we're like the next level up from the floor.
Yeah, it was closer than I thought it was going to be. So good seats. Got lucky with the parking, right?
Yeah.
Pulled into a parking lot, paid the parking, and then they closed the parking lot. But because I had paid, they let us
and
keep
there was
our
a
car
solid
there.
poutineery in there.
Yeah, we got some poutine. The food actually in that venue was good. It's where
they had some nice options. There was like Timmy's in there, which I was kind of surprised by.
Yes, and for you American listeners, if you might not know, that's Tim Hortons, which is a beloved coffee shop up here in Canada. There are some in the States too, but Canadians love it. So yeah, the venue is nice. It's the Toronto Maple Leafs farm team, their arena. So made good time getting there and getting home. Had a good time at the show. Thought about going to Rampage because tickets were you could buy them off StubHub for like $8 to $12 because I guess they did not sell very well. But we had a busy day on Thursday, and neither of us really felt like driving down for a 1-hour show. If they were
plus dark.
Yeah. So we got to watch Dark Elevation, right?
And literally first match was Kip Sabian, so that's kind of
not to spoil. Well, I guess whatever. If you're upset that we're spoiling Dark Elevation, well, that's on you. I feel like.
Yeah.
So it was fun because there was a local talent. Her name's escaping. Jody Threat, who we have seen at a kind of a small indie show where we were sitting like right beside her parents, basically, right, which was cool to see. So she was there, and even though she was supposed to be the heel facing Athena, the crowd was completely behind Jody, right, and chanting for her. So then Athena leaned into playing a heel, which was interesting as well,
and
right?
There's those twins who are like, I think they're
from Vancouver.
Yeah, they're like, I think they're also part Hungarian. They're like kind of social media.
They look like they are
thing,
with their bleached blonde, weird hair with the top ponytail and the So
and then I saw that Shane Saber was on Dark.
Yes, who we saw at another indie show, and I thought he was cool, so I'm glad to see him getting a shot. But so they filmed, obviously.
And one of the guys that faced Butcher and Blade, I recognized from the
Supercatch show. Got a pretty good pop, I guess, because Bunny was with them and she's Canadian, so Canadians are rabid for any sort of Canadian content, right? So
because we never.
And there were a few Canadian surprises on Dynamite, but we'll get to that, I guess, when we review the show. Anything else you wanted to discuss today? I can't really think of anything. Are you literally playing a video game while we do this podcast?
No.
You are. Focus, man. Focus up for like an hour and a half or whatever this is going to take. I don't know. I don't really have much to say. I've just been super busy coaching volleyball, coaching basketball, et cetera, working, doing the usual stuff. Nothing super exciting. Looking forward to a bit of a rest this weekend. Things have been busy lately, but you're working. You got a full shift tomorrow.
Yeah, and I think on Sunday I'm like 10 to 6:30, which is good and bad because I mean I don't know starting at 10, but I think that means I'm not closing because on
Nice.
when it's not a holiday we don't close at 6, so it would be someone else is closing, not me.
Yeah, good.
Because I close like every time basically.
Nice, because you're a responsible young man. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
What else was I gonna say? I can't remember. I had something at the tip of my tongue,
You suck.
and I forgot about it. This is great podcasting right here.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I think so. That's why we win so many awards. I don't know. Should we get into talking about wrestling? Because it's gonna be a mishmash of stuff. We're gonna do our usual news and rumors in a second, and then I think we're gonna talk about Extreme Rules, right? And then maybe our trivia, Dynamite, Highspots, Restholds, and I don't think there's figuring it out this
I don't
week.
think so.
So again, you can always check timestamps. I lovingly put those in there for all of you if you like to skip to anything, or you may have already skipped past this to something else, which I wouldn't blame you.
Probably.
So let's get to the actual reason we're all here, and that's to talk about wrestling. And our first segment we'll talk about this week, as every week, I guess, for 117 weeks now, and that is taking a look at some of the week's wrestling news and rumors. All right, our weekly peek at the ratings. We've got NXT back up over their 700,000 threshold that for whatever reason, I put as the benchmark. So 737,000 viewers this week, up a very healthy 17.9%. Earned a 0.15 in the key demo, so that was down 15.4%.
Mm-hmm.
So again, that's not their preferred thing, but at least their overall viewership
Also
went
related to
up.
ratings, I saw like Battle of the Belts did real bad. It was like 300 something thousand.
Because they just zero promote it, right? So it doesn't really shock me. It's I watched.
And it's not like you had something cool.
2/3 of it.
It's not like last time we had like freaking Claudio versus Takeshita.
Right.
Like,
Exactly. It was
FTR
not
versus Gates of Agony. Woo! Party
Right.
up in here.
And we've watched almost half of NXT, I guess, this week. So I won't have a full review of that.
It still sucks my butt.
I'd put something in Highspots and Restholds from it. But anyways, AEW Dynamite this week dipped back under 1 million after being up over 1 million last week. Down to 983,000 this week in Canada. Come on, people. Support the Canadian show. What are you doing?
First international show, baby.
You got to watch it. I do feel like the crowd was pretty hot. I will say that.
Yeah.
They were pretty hot all night.
I'd be surprised if they weren't.
I'd be interested to see what it looks like on TV. I still may go back and check it out just out of
I
curiosity.
definitely will at some point, like at least a bit.
So I
think I ended up watching a bit of Takeover after, like when we.
Right. It's always interesting to see.
Yeah, because then
how you feel watching it on TV.
It's not like kind of like the concert where you can't it's I guess some form of reliving it.
Right. Exactly. So down 5.29% this week, earned a 0.32 in the demo, down 3%. So obviously not great because it's under 1 million, but I don't know, maybe they're happy with it. But those are your ratings this week. What do you have?
Probably the biggest news of the week, I guess, was to no one's surprise at the end of Extreme Rules, Bray Wyatt returned to WWE in the conclusion of the White Rabbit vignettes.
You didn't want to tackle that in the review? You want to get that out of the way now?
That's big news, baby.
People seem to love it. I'm pumped. Okay.
I want to see what he does. I thought the whole thing was a nice spectacle.
For you regular listeners, you know Jack and I agree on most things wrestling, but Bray Wyatt is one thing we differ. I'm not a huge fan of the gimmick of
Bray
him
Wyatt's
in ring,
my boy,
and Jack is a big fan. So, yeah, I to be fair, I don't think they handled it badly at all. People,
I really like
it.
how they zoomed in on each. I thought that was a cool look to it.
Right, and sort of teasing that there are going to be members of a group. Right, seems to be, and I've got
I hope so. I think that'd be kind of cool. That'd be kind of cool.
It will. It could be.
I was hoping
sure.
Obviously we'll talk about that now. I thought it would be funny if he does like a Mick Foley on crack kind of thing, where it's like, which is what I'm calling it, Mick Foley on crack, where it's like the 3 faces of Foley, but except he doubles it. Because he's twice as good.
6 faces of Bray.
the 6 faces of Wyatt.
Yeah.
I think that'd be kind of funny. Or at least I would like him to keep the Fiend. You know what I mean? If they're doing a whole faction with different people, I like him to keep the Fiend because I think that makes the most sense.
I heard some sort of speculation, obviously rumor, I guess it fits in this segment, that his brother, whose name escapes me,
Dallas,
would come back and play the Fiend character.
Bo Dallas?
Yeah.
You forgot Bo Dallas?
I did. How dare I?
Bo Dallas.
I know.
Well, I think it'll happen because I believe, baby.
That
I
he would
believe.
come back and be the Fiend part, and that Bray would be Bray.
No, that's dumb.
So I don't know.
Bray should be the Fiend.
I don't know. I just worry about it being
Bo Dallas can be like Mercy or something.
being too big and too making again everybody that sort of encounters him not look great by
Here's
comparison.
the thing.
So I'm
I'd
nervous.
rather watch that than Karrion Kross. So
Well, yeah, that's for sure. We'll get to him on the pay-per-view in a banger of a match, eh?
Go
Okay. What do I have here? WWE is apparently bringing at least one NXT star up for Monday Night Raw next week, and that's from PW Insider. They're reporting that
And are they picking a good one?
Cameron Grimes is slated
They
to be
are
on
picking
the
a
show.
good one.
I've heard someone else suggesting that he should be in Bray Wyatt's group as well, but I don't know.
He could probably do good in that. I mean, I like him the way he
can-
is.
He
but
does.
like,
He
could
does
do
well
good
with
in that.
anything. He makes the
Exactly.
most of whatever.
That's why I
he's
think that
doing.
would kind of work.
And sort of related to that, Carmelo Hayes and good old Von Wagner
Ew.
appeared on this week's episode of Main Event with, I think, Wagner faced R-Truth and Hayes Cedric Alexander.
Wagner sucks,
But Hayes is awesome.
Yeah,
So,
I love Hayes. Hayes is sick.
Your turn.
Okay, so probably the news I was most excited about this week, actually, because the Bray Wyatt thing we all saw coming, so this is pretty awesome. Brock Lesnar returned. That's not it. There's more. Brock Lesnar returned randomly, attacked Bobby Lashley before his title defense against Seth Rollins. So the whole thing is, I think people are expecting now Lesnar Lashley 2 Electric Boogaloo in Saudi Arabia, everyone's favorite place in the world, at Crown Jewel, everybody's favorite show in the world.
I won't see it.
So
least.
that's neat. But the big thing
Neat.
coming out of that
Neato.
is that ended up
Groovy.
costing Bobbert Lashes his title, and guess who won it? Seth freaking Rollins, baby.
Oh yeah, you were very happy about that.
Yeah, I've been pulling for my boy all year.
Yes.
Literally all year, because they screwed him over time and time again. Rumble, Chamber, Mania,
Here we go.
Money in the Bank.
It's coming.
The big four right there.
Yeah.
And so now they finally get him. Is it a mid-card title? Yes, but
he can elevate it.
He can elevate it, and Triple H has done a solid job with the presentation of those, even up until this point. So that's pretty cool.
Fair enough.
And it's his first title since pre-pandemic 2020. So
I'm happy for him. I'm not quite as high on him as you are, but
I'm super pumped about
he's
that.
definitely a great performer. So.
Yeah, and I think he's been doing great this year. I mean, when you consider like he was losing nonstop and like he had no titles, but like
if they commit to him, he can be awesome.
Year for someone who won nothing,
right?
Like, so I'm glad they finally gave him something. I'm praying he doesn't just drop it to Riddle. Because I'm hoping he gets a decent run because he hasn't held the U.S. title since he was double champion in 2015, which he didn't even hold it for long. He held it for like a month. He won and dropped it to Cena in the white gear. And so that is pretty coolio.
You know what else is cool? One of your favorites, WWE's interested in signing Mia Yim, according to
no, that's not cool.
The Wrestling Observer newsletter.
Cool.
Neither of us are big fan, but actually she's going to come up in the Highspots and Restholds for me, so that's interesting.
Mia Yim sucks.
So Meltzer reported that WWE's interested in having her return. They're attempting to bring back wrestlers who were released sort of beyond the control of Triple H, and that people he would clearly like to have back and may not have ever released if he had his choice. There is also...
I would have released
So, neither of us are huge Mia Yim fans. Want to like her. Want to like her, but she's really...
I wouldn't even say I want to like her. I just don't really care.
She's really hit and miss for me. But there's also significant interest in somebody who I would lump into that same category. Another female wrestler. Who would you guess?
Oh, Chelsea Green.
Correct. Yeah. So to me, they're like very similar in terms of like they are capable.
Yeah, but I'd rather take Chelsea Green than Mia Yim.
Like capable of good matches, but not consistently having them. At
least Chelsea Green's had like an interesting gimmick or two, and Mia Yim's just been Mia Yim forever.
Correct. Whatever. She's the
HBIC.
Right, and she was the Blasian baddie too at some point.
Head baddie in charge.
Right. Redundancy. Go ahead. What do you got? I have
another
couple
big
more.
thing from Raw. Raw was just firing on all cylinders, and I'm sure you were indeed happy about this. The Good Brothers returned to WWE to aid AJ Styles against the Judgment Day.
Why?
I don't know. I'm okay with Anderson because Anderson's solid.
But at the end of the day, Anderson's
he
still
always
like
gonna toe Gallows with him, right?
And he's just a mid-card dude.
I do find it very interesting, though, and this was a topic I saw among people, is that Anderson's still the never openweight champion.
Yes.
So I think that's really interesting. And so they're still advertising him to defend against our boy Hikuleo.
I'm guessing
he
won't be successful in that defense.
Yeah, but apparently so they've been working New Japan without contracts, but they're they're committed to work till Wrestle Kingdom.
Right.
So
weird.
That'll be interesting how that pans out.
Forbidden Door.
Yeah, I
open.
guess so. I was pretty surprised, I guess, in that regard, but
Yeah.
I can't say I really care. And also, little continuity thing. I think the whole AJ Styles Finn Balor relationship is kind of weird because they were never on Bullet Club
Right.
together.
Yes.
AJ Styles was literally the replacement for Finn Balor.
Right.
I guess like that
The club.
would spark the feud, I guess, but I don't understand them playing them as friends because that technically doesn't make sense. Styles and Good Brothers, sure. Balor and Good Brothers, sure. Styles and Balor, what?
At least Gallows will be wrestling on a show that I don't watch because I can't take much more of watching
Maybe in a
him.
place that kind of fits him.
But it'll be different because in Impact, I felt like they were given pretty much free reign to like never lose and never put anyone over and only make themselves look good and just pump their merch constantly, which is part of what made me despise them so much. They're just like amusing themselves and not really helping anybody else, but maybe that will not be the case there. Going back to the whole Bray Wyatt issue, apparently there are long-term plans for the group that sort of will lead up to WrestleMania. This might fit into rumors. It's Meltzer talking about it, but still. So no other details, but lots of speculation. So clearly rumor material here. Have you heard the speculation for who would be Huskus?
Yeah, but I think I forgot.
Joe Gacy.
Oh yeah.
Who would be Mercy the Buzzard? We talked about
That's stupid.
off air. Grayson Waller.
That doesn't make sense to me.
I'll explain. There's speculation on further on that. And Sister Abigail would be.
Was it Morgan?
This is saying Alexa Bliss. I've heard
Okay, that
Liv
works
Morgan
better.
possibly
I think
as well.
the Liv Morgan thing is stupid. I think Alexa Bliss makes a little more sense given though they already did that, kinda. But that sucked, so maybe don't do that.
Right. So the Gacy speculation comes from him posting rabbits on his social media stuff, apparently.
That kind of works for me.
I'd
be okay with that. And I would like to get him out of that gimmick because that would, in theory, free the dyad.
Right. And I think he is also a good performer. He's just been saddled with an awful gimmick that is just like feud death on NXT. The Bliss speculation comes from the fact that she's sort of been presented somebody who's like lost her edge or whatever since Wyatt's been gone.
And the history,
just sort of directionless, I guess, since then.
Oh, well, yeah, she's been directionless. Yeah, that's 100% accurate.
And I didn't notice this. Maybe you did. The Sister Abigail character, when they showed her, had a pair of women's titles next to her.
That, I think, was just fans' belts because...
Yeah, I don't know.
It looked like they're hanging on the wall. I think that could be a thing, but I feel like that's that. To me, it seems like reading into things a bit much. I'm the one, like...
Wrestling fans love to do that.
Right? So, like, I think that's a little...
And Mercy the Buzzard, here's the reason for that one, ready, is the same height and build as Waller, and he wore a shirt that Waller had previously worn on TV. Ooh, that's the final piece of evidence we need. So anyways, who knows?
The Waller one, I don't know.
I mean, I like factions, right? So we're going to have a creepy whatever. I just don't...
Wyatt Family 2?
Don't lean into the supernatural crap too much. Just have him be a weird, culty guy if you want. But, like, please don't give him any powers or I'm going to be out really quickly, right? Like, just have him be a quirky, weird, dark, mysterious guy.
Okay, so
like
here's what I want to
Mankind.
happen. I want them all to teleport to the ring.
No, thank you.
Before and after matches. I want them all to wrestle upside down. And I want them to fly at will, and also Bray Wyatt's gonna have his own version of Mjolnir.
Maybe.
So we're gonna just go full supernatural on this, just because.
No thanks.
I know you'd love it.
And I will be mad.
Actually, I'd like him to have multiversal powers as well. Pull a little America Chavez on this, so you can have like a bunch of different Bray Wyatts. Like I'd like to see a Bray Wyatt in a universe where he played the Joker. That would be kind of cool.
Nope.
Green Goblin.
Nope.
Played by Bray Wyatt.
Nope.
And then I think we could do like maybe Bray the God Butcher from you know. Do one of those, and then
that'll never happen. You're never getting that license.
Zombie Bray Wyatt, I think that works too. You could do like a vampire Bray.
Those are all terrible ideas.
Ghost of Bray Wyatt.
All terrible ideas.
Count Dracula.
And then there's me changing the channel real fast.
Brayenstein's monster.
And I'm out. All right, keep going. I only have one more news story.
You want to keep rhyming these off?
No,
Is that what you meant?
I do not. Do you have anything else?
Yeah, the last one was I told you about this. Chris Jericho defend the Ring of Honor World Title against Dalton Castle next week's Dynamite, which is kind of funny because like
and the boys
on the card they were talking about because we thought Jericho and Danielson would be the main events. So we were talking about like who would win that, and so like Jericho would maybe continuing the running through the Ring of Honor champions. So we were like, let's off and one of them they could do his Castle. So I guess for doing that.
They heard us.
And it's champion
We
versus
didn't
champion.
even talk about it on air, and they
Ooh,
heard us.
that's true.
That's weird.
Champion versus champion too, because he's a 6-man tag team champion, as everyone remembered, of course.
Right. He is a current. Dalton Castle is a current champion in ROH.
Yes, sir.
My final one is an Adam Cole update for you. I don't know if you heard about this, but on Wrestling Observer Radio, good old Meltzer noted that Cole obviously still has not been cleared, and it is a bad concussion, which sucks because the timetable for that is just sort of depends on his symptoms, right? So his quote was, "You hear anything new? It's a concussion. It's a bad concussion. Real bad concussion. He'll be back when he's cleared. It could be tomorrow, and it could be never." You know what I mean? Better not be never.
Cool.
That's not cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. That makes me sad.
Yeah. So hopefully,
I don't want another Daniel Bryan situation, especially when it's Adam Cole, because Adam Cole is my boy.
And they could use some star power right now, right at the top of the card or near the top of the card. So
yeah, I really hope he comes back, because Adam Cole is my boy. He's probably my third favorite or my second favorite. It's either him or Hangman.
Right.
So yeah, that's all I got.
Me too. That's going to wrap up news and rumors, and I think we will move into a quick sort of, not quite a turbo review, but not a full review either, of what was that, Saturday? It was after we recorded, correct. I think, right? WWE Extreme Rules. All right, so this show, we watched all of it. Yeah, it was hit and miss, I think, but I guess we'll.
Yeah, I'd say that. That's fair.
We'll dive right into it. So, I'm not going to go into it, but obviously there were little video packages ahead of each match. There was also like a running thread of The Miz dealing with the mascot for I don't know, is that the Flyers, I think it was?
Yeah, because they're in Philly, yeah.
Right, so whatever, it ended up, I don't know, and wasn't Loomis involved? That somehow, are you paying attention to me here? You don't look like you're paying attention.
Yeah, Loomis, because I thought it was gonna be Loomis in the suit, but Loomis attacked him. I hate that feud so much.
And it was just silly. Like, this was WWE silliness that I don't really have any interest in, but it happened. Right?
Yeah, it was like, honestly,
just 3 or 4 segments of Miz interacting with
Miz is so lame now. Like,
trying to give him a T-shirt was the gist of it. Anyways, doesn't matter.
Yeah, it was lame, and like that whole feud, I really hate. It's just like. It's so, like you said, like WWE silliness, or like it's just like, I don't know, it's like wacky. Like I feel like it's like when it goes too supernatural. This is like too ridiculous.
And even
like,
just a grown man getting mad at a mascot, like it's stupid.
Who cares?
Yeah, dumb.
Who actually does that? Who gets mad at a mascot? Does anyone even do that? Like honestly, I don't get it.
So the opening match, which I'll say right now was the match of the night for me,
like a Royal Rumble situation,
was only downhill after that. And then a little bit of a blip elsewhere. But anyways, it was the Brawling Brutes.
No.
Sorry. It was those guys called that versus Imperium.
And what are the members of said faction, the first one?
Peter Dunne.
Yes, there you go. All right, that's all we needed.
And Sheamus and the other guy.
The other guy.
So this was a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match, which meant that there was
European weapons,
barrels around the ring,
like a piece of a bar,
right, set up there that all kind of came into play.
Oh, and shillelaghs! Don't forget the good old shillelagh.
A shillelagh attack,
homage to Finley.
But this was a really, I thought, fun, like physical brawl between all 6 of these people, I
had a decent amount of stuff going on.
I really enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would, to be honest. So,
do I still hate Butch? Absolutely.
Imperium takes the loss there. I don't actually remember what the finish was. Do you? I don't know.
But what I do know is that one of us picked it, and it wasn't you.
Oh yeah, that's probably true.
It was me.
Right. So yeah, this was a really just physical match with action all over the place.
Also funny on like the table. I tried to put them because kind of like a prediction order. Is I did put this as the first match on the table, so that's funny.
Like. Use of weapons and stuff, but I thought there was enough.
I would have liked a little more like weapon involvement, just because I feel like they should take advantage of that a bit more. But I thought what they did was pretty good.
One of my problems with this this show, even though we were happy with
getting stipulations,
actually making them stipulations, is that it starts to like, I don't know, it just all runs together, right?
It does kind of, which I feel like they need some diversity, but I also feel like they could have done.
So maybe not every match with some sort of stipulation, but like maybe the major feuds that are coming to a head, you do some stipulations, and then the other ones are just standard? Because it felt
Or
like,
like I don't mind having some, because like I feel like stuff like the Extreme Rules match and the Aqua match will kind of blend, like
yes,
you're saying, because and even the Donnybrook, like with the bar and stuff, like at least that is a bit of different scenery,
it looks
right?
different, yes.
So I feel like stuff like the Extreme Rules and the Aqua, or like if you did Last Man Standing, etc., those will look similar, of course. But I feel like then if you throw in something like a ladder match or it's largely ladders,
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. Like Fight Pit, different, or like if even if it were a steel
Oh, yeah,
cage,
Fight Pit.
works.
Forgot about
Like
Fight Pit.
so, it must have been great then. Like or like even a strap match, as much as we don't like, at least it's like, because I feel like if it was too much like just Extreme Rules matches, then it is kind of,
Yeah. But
you
by
know,
the end, I'm just like, oh, a weapon, and they're using a weapon. I've seen
yeah,
it 50
especially
times
when they're
tonight.
not like, I feel like on the main roster they also don't do enough. Like you gotta kind of innovate a bit.
And some people, which we'll get to, looked completely unbelievable using weapons. I don't know if you know who I'm referring to, but it was my notes, anyways, that I thought. So the next match we get, speak of the devil, is Extreme Rules, a SmackDown Women's Title match.
I was not wanting to watch.
Liv Morgan with her bat from Hot Topic. That's what it looked like to me.
It's like a Cora Jade kind of thing.
Versus Ronda Rousey. And I guess the idea was that Liv Morgan needed weapons to sort of get on Rousey's level, because isn't it like Rousey is a weapon? So Liv Morgan's using weapons. I don't know. But there was attempts to use weapons right away, but Rousey kind of stops her, and then there is a bat attack, right? There's which was one of my big complaints I'll get to. Fire extinguisher, of course, pulled out from under the ring by Morgan right at one point. So each of them got hit with bats at one point, and like the ridiculousness of Ronda Rousey swinging and repeatedly hitting Liv Morgan's leg with a bat, and really it's like no effect. And some of the chair shots and the bat shots looked awful. Like, kind of took me out of it, to be honest. Like it's like they were just trying to protect each other, which is great, but then maybe don't do this, because they really didn't look good. And like, if you hit someone with a baseball bat in the knee repeatedly, they're not like running around and finishing the match. And like, I don't know, it was just like,
well, especially if she's like an MMA fighter,
right, swinging a bat, and it didn't look like she had a lot of experience swinging a baseball bat. So I
not a baseball player, is she?
I don't know about you. I was not a fan of this. And then
I really didn't like.
And then whatever the weird submission was with Liv Morgan smiling,
that was so nice. So eyelash was like falling off.
So I think that's like, okay, this feud is done, but Liv Morgan's really tough and enjoys pain now. Like, and I don't care. I don't know.
A, confused me. B, I didn't like it. C, I didn't care.
I did not get into this match. I didn't think it was very good.
D's nuts.
Not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I didn't like it. Let me review the predictions. You got that, so that's gonna tie it.
I am smart boy.
Yeah, I didn't like this. I didn't really care.
I
It
agree.
wasn't that interesting. I came out of it caring about as much as I did going into it, which was
I
not.
don't care about Rousey. I don't think Liv Morgan was a very productive champion, so it's just,
honestly, like,
this is one of those, I feel like this is a one and done for Liv Morgan. Like, we gave you your title shot, and it wasn't great, and I don't know if she'll ever ascend to that position again.
I hate to say I told you so with the Baszler thing, but I told you so. It should have been Baszler. And I mean, you could do Baszler Rousey. Come on. Do it, folks.
You could.
Do it. Trips ain't stoopy.
You could do it in a fight pit.
Fight pit. Oh, female fight pit? Well, it's kind of...
female fight pit sounds good even.
Oh, that's true.
Right?
They should call it that. And then Riddle can have...
Buddy, I watched a women's match that I'm going to rave about later on. You know what it is, but I won't. I'll just tease the audience with that.
I honestly don't remember what it was.
It's my women's match of the year. We'll get there. And it's already October, so I don't know what's going to beat it. It's going to take some kind of banger from somebody.
Is that on Impact?
It was on Impact. We'll get there.
That's bogus.
We then get to another match.
Oh, it was Death Dolls, right?
Yes, with a Z.
With a Z.
It's Drew McIntyre taking on FNS Wrestling's favorite big man, Karrion Kross. Yawn.
The prodigal son.
Yawn. Insert yawn here. This was a strap match, and
it was a strap
match. Also,
match.
like, one of my least favorite stipulations.
I prefer, like, if we're going with this, I prefer the dog collar, because I think a chain's cooler than a strap.
I just don't. Attaching people together is so limiting, and I just don't. It just basically indicates to me there will not be high spots here, basically, right? There's going to be and someone's gonna
And
get
if you don't want him to
confused going in
escape,
and
do
out
a
of the ring.
cage match then. Cage
Right.
matches are cooler. Yes, you had a fight pit, but like, I don't know, do a cool thing.
So I don't know. In the beginning, Cross didn't want the strap tied on, right? He just kind of refused
He did a
because there
heel
are no
attack.
DQs, so he could just not do it if he wanted to. But anyways, so he attacks before the bell, fighting. I don't know. Things happened. Pepper spray, right? Was Scarlett pepper sprayed
Right.
McIntyre, and then Cross hit his weak.
My least favorite finisher in all of the
He
land.
looks like such a killer, and then like nothing he does looks painful.
There's
He's
no. I'll say this until I'm like blue in the face. There's no follow through on that form, and it looks crappy with the cross hammer.
He's the anti-Pac to me.
Yeah.
Like everything Pac does looks super intense and
Danielson.
impactful, and he's small.
Yeah.
And then you've got this giant cross where nothing looks like it hurts. It's bizarre to me.
Yeah, I hate that finisher.
I did not like this match. I thought this was like,
yeah, I thought it was really
and
boring.
McIntyre's a talented big man, right? But this was just there. It was not interesting to me.
Yeah, it just kind of existed, and I think the strap like
And
sometimes
the finish
you can.
looks stupid.
Yeah, the finish was lame. I hate his finisher. Sometimes you can do cool things with the strap because sometimes strap matches don't suck. I remember Fiend Bryan was solid for what it was,
Right.
and I thought this was lame.
And so, you know, Karrion Kross is this super dominant killer who needs his second to pepper spray Drew McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre, right? Like,
right? So, I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of this.
yeah,
obviously.
I didn't like it.
Then I thought things picked up because we get the ladder match for the Raw Women's Championship, and that's Bianca Belair taking on Bayley, which I'm pretty sure I picked correctly as well, and you did not. But I could be wrong. You're gonna tell me. So Dakota Kai and Io Sky, were not at ringside for this. But obviously you felt like they were gonna show up at some point and get involved, and they did. So they stopped Belair at one point from reaching the belt, and then it was a little bit awkward, but didn't bother me because it is such an impressive thing where she hit the KOD to both of them at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
To Sky.
It wasn't executed perfectly, but like.
But it should be hard to do that, right?
Yeah.
So that doesn't bother me. And it was kind of a little bit of Io, I think it was, like trying to jump into position on her shoulders. But anyways,
which would be kind of tricky to do.
It looked pretty cool. In the end, Belair ended up climbing the ladder and obviously retaining her championship. This match I thought kind of picked up for me again. I thought this was a really good women's match. Pretty good physicality. I did. And I was worried about over-involvement of Kai and Sky, and they were involved, but not too much. So I actually really liked this match. This was probably the only other match other than the opener that I would say I liked on the show.
I thought it was solid. I'm going to be honest, I don't remember a whole lot by now.
I liked it.
But, yeah, it was better than other things.
Right. And for that match, we had Nikita Lyons was shown sitting in the crowd, right?
For some reason.
Right. Oh, and the finish was wasn't it a KOD on the ladder? I thought.
But like Bayley was holding a ladder.
It looked really good. I thought it looked painful. So yeah, that was a good match. Then we get to another one of my least favorite stipulations, and that is an I Quit match between Finn Balor and Edge. I don't know. This was so nobody from Judgment Day came out here, right? Trying to send the message that he didn't need any help. And then
wearing a stupid mask for his entrance, and I hated it.
And then Priest and Mysterio show up at one point to help Balor, right?
Specify the Mysterio, please.
And then Rhea Ripley handcuffed Edge to the rope, right? At one point as well.
Right.
Ray showed up, fought with Dominic to take him out.
Dominic beat his dad.
Beth Phoenix shows up, like so many people coming in that hurt. For me, that hurt this one. Beth shows up, saves Edge from a kendo stick attack. And then basically
Ripley brass knocks her.
Right, and then the finish of this was them threatening to concerto Beth Phoenix. So Edge says he quits because they're holding him while he watches it, right? So he says I quit to save her. And then my favorite part of this was that Ripley hit the concerto anyways, right? So it's like you have to do that if you're heels. And they did.
It reminds me of and they did it better when Reigns won the I Quit match in Hell in a Cell by just killing Jimmy Uso when he was injured, and that's how he got beat Jay. That was way better. This was
just too
convoluted
for me. Yes, great word. Too much, too many moving parts, too many people running down, and it's an I Quit match, so it's so much of the microphone in their face and them refusing to say it. Like I find it just the pace of the match can't be the way I want it when you have to stop and check for people
Yeah,
saying I quit.
it's such a boring match type. So I don't know. At least like a last man standing, it's like you kind of have to have like some big spot for like
Yes.
I don't know. Last man standing's a little better for whatever reason.
Yes.
I feel like there's a better suspense with the whole 10 count thing. There's just something about that that's better. I feel like just asking someone to quit over and over is just kind of lame. It's just like, oh, Edge won't give up, even though like he
Right.
probably should. Like, I don't know.
I think the finish of this was booked pretty well because Edge quit,
Partially,
but not because
I feel like there's a lot of. It was kind of messy beforehand. I think
yes,
the concept itself was
The-
done well, and I
Yes.
think that like
the actual
I think the
him
execution wasn't
yeah
the best.
him saving Beth Phoenix and saying I quit. I like that idea, but all of the stuff leading up to that I thought was
I
a
didn't
bit
need to
too
see
much.
Raymond or Dominic beat up his dad.
So I was not a fan of this.
Yeah, and Balor won, so that's cool.
Right, and Balor was wearing a crazy mask for his entrance.
Yeah, so
right?
people were saying like, what did someone did that? Like it was a Kanye or something. Someone did that.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, it was really stupid, and I didn't like it.
Right. And I will say that the unhandcuffing went more smoothly than a lot of handcuff removals, right, that we've seen. So not a big fan of that. I don't think it was a terrible match. It's just, I wasn't super interested. Then we got to one that we were interested in seeing. That was Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins in Fight Pit. So the general Fight Pit aesthetic I didn't really love because it was that like shiny polish that main roster WWE is going to put on things, and I get it. They want it to look big time and have a cool look, but like for me it was too much. Like it's supposed to be like a gritty, dirty.
It was too like glorified kind of.
Yeah, it should be more like what was the
It was too polished.
what was the thing on Raw that they were doing?
Raw Underground.
Right. So
oh man, Raw Underground.
So this match,
debut of Omos.
I didn't mind this match. I was hoping for better. The biggest spot obviously was the senton at the finish. Riddle hit a senton.
They claimed it was a floating bro. It was just a senton, but it was so cool because like it looked like it came down really heavy.
Impactful.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Then Rollins had the rib tape. Also, Rollins' gear is like a in Philly, so he was mocking a Rob Van Dam. I thought that was a nice look.
And why? Did you notice that when you're up on the scaffolding, like the second level, the referee was counting at times? Like, what's the point of having it there?
I don't know.
If you're not supposed to be
in
up
the other
there?
fight pit matches, they'd have two refs because, like,
yes,
back then because in this time it was just like in the pit, but like I remember you used to be allowed to get falls on the scaffolding because that's the whole point of having two refs, right? Which I thought was kind of neat, and that's still one of my favorite parts about Fight Pit is having that second platform. I think it's really cool. But yeah, I don't know, and Cormier as a ref was just pointless.
He didn't add anything to it, right? So
other than looking like, no offense, like major dad bod.
And I should have pointed out that this was the main event because again, this show had no main championship, no intercontinental championship, no United States championship, no tag team. Like this was.
It was just the women's titles.
B show, right? There was
Absolutely.
really not a lot going on. So I would say, I guess I don't know, like this match is a strong word, but I didn't really have a huge problem with it. I was hoping
I was just
for
really
better.
disappointed.
Me too. It's not the Fight Pit I wanted. So who won the overall tally?
You win by 1.
Yeah. We didn't really plan for this, but letter grade for this show. I'll let you go first because I always go first.
So it wasn't very good, but it didn't completely suck.
And it wasn't 5 hours long.
It wasn't too long, so I'll say like on the curve of main roster shows.
Comparing it to itself, yes.
B minus because like it wasn't great, but a couple matches were solid and like
I'm pretty close. It
didn't completely suck.
No.
Which happens sometimes as I drop my phone.
And I like the opener and I like the women's match and I didn't hate the Fight Pit.
And Fight Pit main eventing is kind of cool.
So I was C+, right? Like it's a watchable show. There was nothing where I'm like, man, you need to go out and see this, where ironically, maybe or not, I will say that about Bound for Glory when we get there. There's a couple things like there's 3 matches that I would recommend.
Oh, now I know the women's match.
Right.
I just remembered. Got it.
I
got there, folks.
So yeah, a C+ show, like whatever. It wasn't offensive, but is nothing you need to rush out and see either.
No, sir.
All right, so that's gonna wrap up our sort of quick review of whatever that show was called, Extreme Rules. And I think our next segment is where we'll sneak in our trivia. So that's what we like to call Off the Top of His Head. Okay, so this is kind of a timely one here. We're going to see what you know about I Quit matches and their participants
But those suck.
going back to 1995. So would you rather start in the past or in the present, which will be 2020?
We'll go
It's
with,
the closest to the present I can get.
we'll go with present.
Present? All right.
Yeah.
So Hell in a Cell 2020.
The one I mentioned before.
Right. So who was it?
It was in Hell in a Cell. And,
Thanks.
Well, no, but it was like in Hell in a Cell.
Oh,
remember?
yeah, okay.
It was a Hell in a Cell I quit.
Right.
It was Reigns and Jey Uso.
Correct.
Early tribal chief. First appearance of the Gold Gauntlet.
Oh, I think I'm going to stump you on the second one. We'll see. NXT UK, February 2020. If you'd like a hint, I can give you one.
Okay.
Women. So who was there at that point? This is a tough one right off the bat. There's a couple in here you're not going to get, which I kind of like. Because, well, you'll see.
Kaylee Ray.
Correct.
Okay.
Versus somebody, who is currently holding a title.
Was it Storm?
It was Storm.
I thought it would be Storm.
Very good. Good luck with this one. 2005 live, 205 live, 2017. Regular episode.
Neville?
No.
Neville, no. Enzo?
Someone we liked from UK. Obviously in this cruiserweight.
Gallagher?
No. No.
Not Devlin?
No. Who do we like that didn't get released from UK that's small?
Oh, Dar.
Correct.
Oh, Cedric Alexander?
Yes. Why would you know that?
Because the Alicia Fox.
Alicia Fox.
Yeah.
Oh, Noam Dar's so entertaining. Such a good boy. 205 live.
Oh, what the hell?
January 2017.
What the hell?
Somebody you suggested for the last
Neville.
one.
No.
The one we laughed
Gallagher?
at. Correct.
Davari?
Yes. Why?
Because remember they had the one segment where they were
No,
dueling?
I don't remember anything. In
I
case you
remember
haven't met me, I don't remember
They had
anything.
the one segment where he challenged him to a duel because that was his thing. 'Cause he's English.
You're lucky I remember Dynamite that I was at 3 days ago, to be honest with you. That's just how it goes. Payback 2015.
Let me think. Was it Cena and someone?
Cena and
Rusev?
Correct. Damn. I thought I'd get you on that one. Extreme Rules 2013.
But see, that's a trick because Cena never gives up. So.
That's true.
And he rises above hate.
Always. Extreme Rules 2013.
Cena.
Nope.
Brian.
Dirtbag who's been released and you really wanted his figure in Niagara Falls.
Oh, Del Rio.
Correct.
RVD.
No.
Big Show.
No. A large wrestler we don't like who's now in AEW. And was
Big Show.
Was going to get a push and drove around with a whole bunch of drugs in his car.
Jeff Hardy.
Good guess, but no.
I'm just kidding. It was 2013. That doesn't even make sense.
We the People.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Who?
Jack Swagger.
Correct. Over the Limit 2011.
Cena.
Correct. And?
Del Rio.
No. Somebody
CM
that's still there. We talked about him on Extreme Rules, but he wasn't in a match.
Miz.
Correct. Over the Limit 2010.
John Cena.
Correct. And?
Randy Orton.
Close.
Batista.
Correct. Breaking Point 2009.
John Cena.
Yes. And?
Randy
Correct.
Orton.
Did you know that one?
Kinda.
Backlash 2009.
John Cena.
Nope.
Oh, wait. Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy.
Correct. One Night Stand 2008. Women. Women. Who we just mentioned one
Melina.
of them. Yes.
Nice.
And we mentioned her
Kaylee Ray.
talking about Extreme Rules. Who of that vintage was on the show?
Oh, Beth Phoenix.
Correct. SmackDown 2007.
John Cena.
Okay, let that gimmick die.
Well, it's strategy now.
It's not him in well, there is one other one, but other than that, he's not in any.
2007. Chris Benoit.
No.
Was he dead at this point? What's the date of this?
2007.
But like, any more specific?
September 7th.
Okay, so you said.
So it wasn't him.
Okay.
Can confirm, not Benoit. But some
Chris
of those.
Jericho.
No.
Christian.
No.
Christopher Nowinski.
No.
All right.
Masked Wrestler 1.
Rey Mysterio.
And somebody in Lucha Underground.
Killshot.
No. Chavo.
Oh.
SmackDown 2006.
John Cena.
No.
Damn it.
I should just go with the
Batista.
I should go with the pay-per-view ones. No, it's Chavo and Rey Mysterio again.
What? 2 years?
Yeah. SummerSlam 2006. Let's go with the big
John
ones.
Cena.
No.
All right. Rey Mysterio.
I thought you would know some of these. No.
Kurt Angle.
No.
Randy Orton.
Foley and Flair.
Oh yeah.
Judgment Day 2005.
John Cena.
Yes. And that is the last Cena one.
Carlito.
He's a
JBL.
Yeah, I was going to say he's a bully. That was going to be the clue. No Mercy 2003. Family members fighting.
John Cena.
Intergender family.
Oh. Is this the one where Vince chokes Steph?
Correct.
With a pipe?
Royal Rumble 1999. Famous one.
Oh yeah, Rock and Foley.
Right. And
Okay.
WrestleMania 11.
Bret Hart and Bob Backlund.
Correct. So you did less well than usual on there, but that was a pretty obscure topic, I'm not going to lie.
I'm not very good at rising above hate.
I guess not. John Cena for every guess. But that's going to wrap
a good strategy.
that up, and I think we'll move into our sort of review. Well, review for sure, but not as detailed as usual because we were there and we weren't taking notes at the time, but we're going to talk about this week's episode of AEW Dynamite. All right, so looking at someone else's notes, we're going to talk about this a little bit. We start out with the first surprise was some Canadian content, which was not a very well-kept secret because we were talking about it beforehand, that in fact there is a new member of the broadcast team, but she wasn't at like the play-by-play desk or anything. So
I was kind of hoping she was.
She did like an interview later, right?
Yeah, she was. I think she did a couple of things that. I'm not sure if that's like her permanent thing or like I'm not sure what the deal is.
We'll find out. And that was Renee Paquette. She's cool. She's really smart.
Mrs. Moxley.
She's actually been a wrestling fan for a long time. She used to do stuff up here in Canada before she got signed down in the South.
Mrs. Moxley.
So she brings out Christian Cage, and he's obviously a heel, so he has to insult Toronto. Was he the first one to take a shot at the Maple Leafs, maybe, to get heat, right? Because obviously initially people are going to cheer him because he is Canadian, although his pop wasn't as big as some other Canadians, I didn't think. So he insults the Leafs, which is a good strategy.
You should have insulted the Jays because that would have been a funny.
Because that would have been recent, right? They blew an 8-1 lead to get knocked out of the playoffs.
Why didn't they do that?
Which I don't want to talk about. But anyways, so obviously that brings us the opening match of Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, and then
Jungle Boy Jack Perry. Excuse you.
Sorry. And as this started, you were like, "Where did Christian go?" And the reason we didn't notice because he went to join commentary,
and you can't.
We
see
couldn't
that.
really see. It was at the far opposite end,
and it was like dark, and it's like, I feel like when you don't hear it on TV or like see him go, like or like hear them say, it's just like, where did he go?
Because I spent a lot of time going, yeah, where did he go?
Where did Christian go? And then he eventually came back down to ringside, but it was just like for a while, just like, where did he go?
So this match. One of the big things, I guess, was a table got set up, right? The opposite side from where we could see.
Luchasaurus set it up, so guess who went through it?
Right, lots of teasing of going through it before Luchasaurus eventually goes through with the sunset bomb. So it was kind of funny. We couldn't see that side of the ring, but right in front of us, we could see they had all monitors set up for the sound guy and whoever else, so we could
stupid light blocking my view.
We could watch it there.
I swear to God, I wish shot that light out of the air.
And the sunset bomb looked pretty good, I thought.
Pretty nice.
So that obviously prompts.
Saw a clip of that later on.
That prompts Christian to come down to the ring now and sort of get involved a little bit more.
There's Christian.
Some arm work by Jungle Boy. A pretty nice looking crucifix bomb at one point looked good. He even hit Luchasaurus with a kill shot, right? Or kill switch, sorry. At one point, and a snare trap gets broken up. Jungle Boy goes up top. Distraction from Christian. Luchasaurus slams him from the top rope, right? It was kind
of like a choke.
Yeah, just like a big old
thingy thing.
And then the cutthroat driver, whatever it's called.
Cutthroat burning hammer, whatever thing.
Right.
Not the fossilizer.
And so Luchasaurus wins this match after about 14 minutes. I liked the match. I didn't think it was amazing.
I thought it was a pretty solid opener.
It was
like
solid.
I feel like that would be like Like, I feel like watching that on TV, I'd be like, yeah, it was just all over. I liked it. I thought they kind of work well together. I'd like to like. I mean, I know this feud doesn't have a lot of legs because it's kind of like
That's part of
the
my
build up
problem.
feud. I'd like to see this again, maybe like with something a little more to it. Because I feel like,
Yeah.
especially with the kind of like unresolved bit of this with Cage Cylinder, you could go at this again. I feel like I do like. While it's not the main feud, I do like the kind of personal aspect to this.
I do. I just didn't
So-
quite feel like it was as bitter.
Yeah,
you
which
know what I
maybe you
mean?
can. That's why you can revisit it once
Yeah,
more,
you're right.
and then before the cage feud. So I kind of liked it.
It was good, not great.
I thought it was like a solid way to start.
Yep. And then it's what is it? The Firm and Matt Hardy private party
Lame.
segment in the back.
No, like
And then it ends up setting up a Hardy Ethan Page match for Rampage,
no,
right?
it was Ethan Page and Isaiah Cassidy.
Oh, just one, and it's for private party's freedom on the line.
Yeah, so if Cassidy wins against Ethan Page in Toronto, good luck. Then he like that frees private party,
Right.
and then
But
if Page wins,
yes,
they get Matt Hardy's coveted contract.
yeah. So I mean, always
Coveted.
solid work by Page on the mic, but I don't really care about this
So
storyline.
this is what you had him doing instead of winning the All Atlantic title.
Right.
Noted.
I wish this were beneath Ethan Page. It's not, and his current
I still think
positioning,
it is.
but
I mean, I know he doesn't do a
so-
whole lot, but like he's above this.
this wasn't offensive, but I don't really care.
Yep.
Then we get what is it, Ward Joe?
Warjo.
They squash the factory basically.
Yeah,
right?
you used to think as a joke of what like that the factory would show up, and then
They
their
did.
music came. I was like, oh my god, the factory actually showed up.
Because
What
I was
the
saying,
hell?
when are we gonna take a break to get food or whatever? Oh,
the factory shows up, and then they actually showed up. I
I
was
like,
like,
I
no
summoned
shot.
them. I think I made it
Yeah,
happen.
I think you screwed this up. No go though.
So it was about like a 2.5 minute match. Joe ends up choking Camarado. Camarado made Wardlow look small.
He did. It was
Camarado
honestly
is an
funny.
incredibly huge, like a bear of a man. When you see him in person, because we weren't super far away. So then, obviously, someone's got to take a powerbomb symphony, right? So it's QT Marshall gets in the ring. But the embassy come out and surround the ring. Brian Cage gets to speak on a live mic, which isn't a great idea, but he was okay, actually. So he's mocking FTR for not being there, and then FTR's music hits. The crowd goes nuts. They got a really great response from the crowd. And they talk about sort of needing a third partner for their group, and as you predicted, actually,
Yeah,
right?
jokingly.
So it is Sean Spears is back.
With the perfect 10 gimmick.
So another Canadian surprise. Yes, sign it. They sort of teased it by, I can't remember what the reference was, but something about
it
10.
was like they had the perfect partner in mind. What time does Rampage start at? 10.
Right. Oh, yeah, right. That's what it was. So, yeah, a good response for Spears. I mean, it's not exactly
Spears.
a top-notch talent
Hey,
joining them, but he's totally fine. Totally
that's
fine.
Sean Spears you're talking about.
I think quick promo did we see with Jericho Appreciation Society? They're ready for Bryan Danielson and for what he made them do to Garcia. So I think we saw that.
Yeah.
Some of it was hard to hear because the crowd was doing stuff of their own at certain points, right? But anyways, they did stuff. Then we got Billy Gunn, or Daddy Ass as the crowd would call him, versus Swerve Strickland. So Swerve ended up getting the win by cheating, right? Roll up with
W
rope,
for Swerve.
rope assisted in.
Also, live caster app was sick.
It was good. He made reference to our prime minister has a history of going to a party in blackface, so that was that reference.
What?
Yeah. Because he's a privileged young man who went to a party and thought it was appropriate for him to go in blackface. The prime minister of our country.
Well, that's neat.
Right? So that was that reference. I forget what the other references were.
Oh, I kind of wish he was heel caster because then he just would have like done a.
But
Jay's
obviously, the Acclaimed coming out was a huge response from the crowd. They
Everyone
went
loves the
nuts.
Acclaimed.
So this was a 9-minute match, and I did not like it. I thought Billy Gunn made Swerve look boring.
Why did he keep doing the? Remember, he kept like almost pulling his pants down.
Yeah, he was like doing strip teases. The ladies in the row in front of us appreciated it, but I didn't quite understand.
Yeah, it was like
just
random
was, like,
too.
Swerve, there was none of his high flying, there wasn't much of cool Swerve stuff in there, right?
He wasn't
his heel
as
work
smooth
was
as
fine,
he usually is. Yeah,
but I just think you can't do much. Billy Gunn's a giant 50-year-old man, right? He's huge too.
Oh, yeah.
When you see
Yeah,
him in
yeah.
person, he's a monster. He's like when you see Drew McIntyre. They're much
yeah.
bigger in person.
We saw Saddam Singh on Elevation. He's pretty
Huge.
huge, obviously.
So I did not like this match. I was mad at Billy Gunn for making Swerve look kind of ordinary here. But anyways, I don't know what you thought about it.
I thought it was fine. I agree. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it, I guess.
I thought it was bad.
I was just kind of happy to see Swerve, but
me too. But then I was like,
wasn't his finest outing.
Not that I had high expectations for the Billy Gunn in 2022 match, but I was hoping for better. So after the match, Mark Sterling comes out to announce he's trademarked the "Scissor Me" catchphrase, and that if the Acclaimed use it, he's going to get paid. So he's kind of like, so don't use it. But then he's like, oh no, you do use it because he'll also sue if they use the gesture. So they can't use their catchphrase, they can't use their gesture.
Ladder match for the tag titles against Woods and Nice, or ladder match for the contract, one of the two.
Right.
That's what I'm predicting right now, right here. So it can now be documented that I maybe got that right.
Yes. Then we get an MJF sighting, right? He's asked about...
Yeah, his whole thing was just a backstage interview, which I was disappointed because I thought he was... When they announced he was going to speak, I thought that was implied that he would come out.
No. He was out, but only up in the rafters, right? With the poker chip. So he's asked, I guess, about almost shaking hands with Yuta last week. Stokely Hathaway comes out and interrupts him. MJF does not think that's cool, so even though like the gimmick is they've been friends forever, he's basically like telling him this is strike two. And he's sort of insulting to Stokely and gets Stokely out of there. MJF says he wasn't really sure if he's going to shake Yuta's hand or not because he learned a long time ago that nice guys finish last. And he goes on to say that nobody knows what it's like to be him because he's expected to be the bad guy. He's broken his hand several times punching his reflection because he doesn't like himself either, right? That was the big line, like, you don't like me, I don't like me either, sort of thing,
which I think he's kind of done before, which, I mean, I like it. But,
yep, I have no problem with it.
Yeah, I thought he spoke really well here. I like the delivery. I like the whole kind of justifying himself, but also not, because, like, don't have to be an asshole, I guess.
And
but,
that
like,
basically he's going to be that guy to become the world champion because he's a generational talent.
I still hope this is a ruse, just like, again, fake sympathy, because I do like he always does a great job, but I don't like him having a conscience.
And generally, the conflicted part will be a work, I get.
Right. And I hope and I like that because he can just keep revisiting it, and like he's so good, like people will believe it every time, and then boom, just flips the switch again and again and again.
Very good promo from him as always, right? A little bit different trying to watch it again live with some crowd noise and whatever going on, so maybe you're not getting the full effect of it, but I thought it was pretty good. So then that brings out Jon Moxley to the ring to speak. He talks about being a big chunk of AEW's history, and that means a lot is expected of him. Some people became world champion and crumbled under the pressure, and some faster than others. I don't know if that was a little shot at your boy CM Punk or not.
Hey, he's not my boy.
And then he says that brings him to Hangman Page.
Adamander Page.
And Hangman Page storms down to the ring, got a nice response as well.
Nice little pants.
And he's basically like, whatever, if you're going to talk about me, I want you to say it to my face. So they get obviously very close to each other. And it's basically, Moxley doesn't think Page has it anymore. He says it's not the same Page that shoved him off a 20-foot ladder last year. Page gets fired up, says he's right because a lot of things have changed, including his old friends disappearing, right? And so that was like, ooh, from the crowd kind of thing. He's been beaten down and choked blue and beaten while he's unconscious. He's also a former world champion and doesn't care who is there next week, but Page is going to come for the title. Next week, he's proving that he's a man. The fact that, and then he starts punching himself in the head, right? To the point where he draws blood.
I don't know how he did that.
Like, we couldn't see the blood where we were, but the way he was touching his face and
I could see that it was kind of red.
Yeah.
I don't know how he did that.
It was interesting. Really good, passionate promo from Adam Page, I thought here. I
thought Mox delivered a solid, like generally, he's like a standard good promo. Like, I thought he did really good. And I really liked Hangman's promo.
Me
I thought
too.
that was really
Same
good.
thing. I thought Mox's was good and Page's was excellent at that point, right? So then it was a quick video recap of the Bryan Danielson, Chris Jericho situation. And then we do, in fact, get that match next.
Which I was surprised initially that was
not the main event, which I'm thinking immediately it's going to be not super satisfying, and that's why they put it there probably, right?
It did kind of pull a surprise though.
So Ring of Honor World title match between these two.
Ring of Jericho.
Right? And he's defending as Lionheart again this
Oh,
week,
that was awesome because people thought they were gonna get Judas,
and they did not.
and then
And
like
they
that,
just
I
sang
thought
it.
that was awesome.
They just started singing it anyways.
Yeah, they started singing
And
like in part of the match, but I thought that was an excellent. Like, I credit to Jericho. I thought that was really smart because
Yes.
like obviously
Well,
I
I
think
heard
he can't get like that big babyface pop in
I
this,
think
right?
that was Khan's plan, is what I heard, that he
Or,
was
like,
trying to get out in
Yeah,
front
Jericho
of that.
or Khan, like I think that's big props to, because I think that's really smart. Because I think both of them would know that he can't really be getting that big babyface pop, and it's like Jody Thread on Dark Elevation's one thing,
Right.
you know.
Yes.
Jericho on Dynamite is another.
Where
So
people
I
are actually watching it.
think he got like, and I thought that was really smart because I was like, ooh, crowd got deked.
Right. So striking to start, the fans are doing a little bit of Judas. It didn't catch on quite as much as I thought it would. Chops, 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 Hurricane Rana, and then sort of anything, a label lock at one point. Jericho tries the walls of Jericho, but that gets broken up. Danielson then hooks that on to Jericho, who reverses it into a small package for a near fall. Hammer and anvil elbows, but Jericho is kind of hit almost like an AA at one point, right?
Or like, yeah, like a DVD kind of thing, or like
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, I guess it was more of a DVD, to be honest. Referee bump, double clothesline, both men are down. Daniel Garcia comes down. Of course, we're going to assume he's going to help Danielson because there's been a lot of teasing of him leaving the Jericho Appreciation Society. But Danielson hits the running knee, but Garcia ends up taking him out rather than Jericho. And that gives Jericho the pin. Was it a belt shot?
Yeah.
It was, right? Jericho picks up the win at 14:31. Good but not great. Wanted great, got good. So a little bit disappointed in this.
Yeah, I
because
think
I love their previous match,
it was
right?
the least of their 3 matches. I think the
one with the targeting of Jericho's leg, was it?
Danielson's
leg. Sorry, I love that one. This one I did not like
Yeah.
as much. I thought it was good, but again, like you kind of knew it wasn't going to be a satisfying finish by the placement on the show. And it's again, they're doing the whole he's the Ring of Honor, the honorable champion, and he cheats like hell every time. I get it. I have no problem with that. I was just hoping for
Yeah,
an
I was hoping for a
epic
better
match while I
match
was there.
before then. Yeah, I thought it was fine. Like I thought it was solid, but I think they'd done better before. And I mean, at least there was the twist in there, because I definitely didn't expect that.
Right. So Jericho and Garcia, they leave. They're happy together and they leave. Whatever. Did we see this? The Vicious Vixens are happy that Nyla Rose has, because she stole the title from Jade, right?
At the highly viewed Battle of the Belts.
And Anna Jay is gonna get a match, I guess. I don't think we saw this.
Title. No, I saw that.
So I'm sure it was amazing.
We saw it late or something. I remember seeing it.
Yeah, I don't.
So now Vicious Vixens is a Vicious Trio because Shafir.
Nice.
Sorry, play.
Then we get a women's tag team match. It's Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter taking on Sheeta and Storm. Again, Hayter is over. I like her. The crowd seem to like her. Rebel is at ringside. She's really good too, man. Just the stuff she's doing at ringside, even though she's not really getting involved a lot, she kind of adds a lot to their sort of gimmick, I think. So this one, we end up with the pile driver from Storm, right? I think I can't remember.
The finish? No, it was like a. Are you talking about the finish?
Oh, Sheeta suplexes Baker and picks up the pinfall, right? Rolled her up.
Yeah, there's like a kind of a roll up back and forth thing.
Yeah, I obviously not a lot of details on this one, but I really liked this match. I thought it was like really well paced. I was hoping for more Hayter, obviously, because the crowd really likes her. And Sheeta picking up the pinfall over Baker is a little bit interesting to me, because we haven't seen a ton of Sheeta lately. But I really liked this match. I thought that it was like another one, like fast paced women's tag match with lots of stuff going on, and everybody in this is pretty good. Like Storm's grown on me, and I like everybody else. So I like this match actually. This might be a hot take. I almost enjoyed this more than Danielson and Jericho.
Yeah, I thought this
really
was
liked this.
one of the better matches on the show.
Me too.
I thought there's some good action there, and I don't know. It was cool. Hayter was popular again, so that was cool.
She was, yeah.
It's kind of hard to go off of memory.
It really is, but I just remember I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I
it was definitely one of the
ones
ones I liked better. Thought the roll up. I thought like Sheeta's was a little deeper than the other one, so I thought that was like
it was
kind of well done. And I was kind of surprised that Sheeta won there, but I'm
Me
not
too.
complaining. I would have.
No.
I think maybe Hater winning would have.
Yes.
Gotta give her one of these days. But I thought it was good considering it was something I wasn't really super excited for, just
Same.
because we've seen it before. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
like
enjoyed
I
it.
like all them in ring, so I guess like it shouldn't be
It's
that
like-
surprising.
It was about like 8 minutes, it says here, and I thought it was a pretty good match. Then all we got was Butcher and Blade, quick little thing. I guess they're
I
ready
really
for
like this because I've seen
Claudio
it
and
so many
Moxley.
times, and just like Butcher shouting "fight us" over and over. Was
Oh,
really
that
funny.
was funny.
That was.
I
really
think that
amazing.
he should do that all the time.
That should be his thing.
I thought that was
It
cool.
reminded
That
me
is
of
a
when
t-shirt too.
reminded me when Ortiz would just aggressively show at the camera we're the best.
Yes.
Like I love
Fight
it or
us.
whatever.
Yeah, I forgot. That's what that was cool.
Because like
He's cool, man. I don't care.
He was like his whole thing was like to Mox and Claudio was like you're like they're like spinning around and you made Rush's kids look bad or whatever. It's like I thought that was really funny. He was like you spun on Rush's kids, you made him look bad, and then like Leo was like. Blade's thing was like, we're real men, we kick ass. It was like Butcher and Blade, we kick ass. Like it was.
I
so,
thought
like,
they came across as cool. On
it
the
was so
show.
basic, but like
Yeah.
it was really cool, and it kind of tied in well because we saw them on Elevation, right?
And I
so
thought like Butcher's
it
just
tied in
cool.
nice. Yeah, Butcher looks nice with the full beard. I mean, I liked him with the weird
He's
mustache,
just
but
a unique dude. I don't know. I dig him.
fight us.
Then we get the main event, which is the match I was most looking forward to, and that's Orange Cassidy taking on Pac. I love Pac.
For the All-Atlantic title.
At the end of the day, say what you will about this show, I got to watch Danielson live and I got to watch Pac live, and for me, those are two of my top 5 for sure. So that's pretty cool. So it was Orange Cassidy taking on Pac, as Pac is defending the All-Atlantic title here. I had a feeling that we were going to get what we get here. So it started out...
Actually, I thought it was weird at first when they debuted a while ago, but I kind of like Orange Cassidy's theme.
Yeah.
I nabbed it on my playlist.
I don't like the first few seconds of it, and then it gets
it's
better.
piano. I like it. Kind of. I don't know. I like it. It's kind of cool for some reason.
So early on in this, Pac forces Orange Cassidy's hands in his pockets and does the lazy kicks thing, which was kind of funny.
Yeah.
And then Cassidy kind of fires up from that and hits a nice.
I wish Cassidy did the kicks because I would have liked to have been a part of that.
A nice looking drop kick from Cassidy. Pac heads to the outside. We didn't get to see this too well from our side, unfortunately, but he counters a suicide dive with a brainbuster onto the floor, right? And then we get a tombstone on the ramp that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
And the crowd liked that. We get a brutalizer. Cassidy gets to the ropes, obviously. Running DDT, orange punch. So many orange punches would be my one. I think there was like 3 or 4 in this somewhere.
There's at least 2 in the finish.
And a couple brutalizers again too. Suplex and then a brutalizer. Cassidy rolls over, gets to the ropes. Pac goes outside, grabs the title belt. And
he was going for the hammer.
Oh, the hammer again, sorry. And there's a bit of a tussle at the timekeeper's table, and we're revealed that
I like the ref being smart.
It is
Kinda.
Danhausen is there, right, to stop him and curse him. So Pac basically knocks him down with one shot, heads back to the ring with the hammer, but Cassidy is one step ahead, knocks it out of his hand, hits yet another orange punch, followed by another one, and picks up the pin in this. So this is what I thought now looking at this official time. This match felt short to me for a main event for a championship between 2 pretty awesome wrestlers.
I thought it felt normal.
How long do you think it was?
It
was 11 minutes. Felt short to me.
That is short.
In the moment.
It didn't feel short to me.
So again, good but not great. Wanted great, expected great.
I thought it was pretty good.
I got it was my favorite match.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But I don't know. It was a bit too short because I remember when it was starting and I looked down at my watch or phone, I guess, and it was, there's only like 12 or 13 minutes left before the entrances. Like, this isn't going to get the time I want it to get. I had a feeling they were going to get the title off of Pac, and I guess it makes sense because this is the like take it and tour it indie kind of place, and Orange Cassidy will be huge in that capacity for them, right? So I guess it kind of makes sense. I'm disappointed because I love Pac, but he already has another title, so it's fine by me.
With
so
Penta.
I did really like this match, but it didn't feel like the main event.
I like the bit where
Dynamite.
Cassidy hit him with a suicide dive, and then there's the suicide tornado DDT, which Pac takes the crap out of.
He took
and
2
then
DDTs.
Tilt-a-whirl DDT, which he took the crap out of.
He sells them like nobody else. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Overall thoughts on this show? Obviously, I was there, so I wanted to be like it was an A+ show, but I'm not.
I thought it was pretty good. Like, I mean, obviously some of the things were like a little lesser.
Yeah.
But I think like Generally, like, the in-ring action was pretty solid. I think a couple matches were pretty good, but could have been better.
Yes,
I think everything just, like, could have been better. I'd say, like, I'd give it a B because I think it was pretty average, but I'd say,
exactly.
like, I'd give it, like,
Exactly what I was
I'd
going to give
maybe
it.
bump it up a bit just because
We were there and you won it.
that was more fun. I would say I'm glad we were there because I feel like it would be, like, less interesting to watch.
But
I
I
think
wanted like
it's better to be there.
I wanted a crazy trios match to open, and then I wanted I wanted Danielson and Jericho, the one we got before, like, and then an amazing match in the middle between
Right.
Pac and Cassidy. That's what I was expecting. So none of the matches, there's not one match where I'm like, you need to go out and see this. And I was hoping for one or two where I felt that way, right? Segment was definitely highlight was Paige's in-ring promo. I thought was really
Yeah.
strong. MJF's promo was good. Butcher made us laugh, right? But this was a B show. This was straight up a B show. It was good. It wasn't great. There's not really one thing where I'm like, you have to go watch this, other than maybe Paige's response to Moxley. I thought was maybe must
I'd
see.
say go check out that Butcher clip. It's pretty amusing.
But yeah, I thought we got honestly a below average Dynamite slightly. Like I would say if I averaged out Dynamite, I'm probably like a B plus is about maybe the median grade I give it. So unfortunately a little bit below average for me, but I mean I still had a really good time going, right? Like I would go again if they come again. So
I'll never not go.
right. So we had fun, but it was not the best episode of Dynamite for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, that's going to wrap that up. And then I think our next segment we're heading into, and our final segment this week, because I think there's no figuring update, right? Is taking a look at some highlights of the week and some lowlights, I guess, in what we like to call high spots and rest holds. All right, I'm going to go back to, what was it, last Friday, just because I hadn't watched it by then, to talk about a little Impact Bound for Glory. So this is their WrestleMania. They even tout it as their biggest show of the year. So obviously some high expectations. So for me, a high spot to start out would be the opening match, which was Mike Bailey and Frankie Kazarian, or Kaz, whatever you want to call him. A really good, fast-paced, competitive match that got enough time. Sometimes I feel like they don't give these X Division matches enough time. Unfortunately for me, it saw Kaz win with his chicken wing that he was sort of trying to get all match of this, and Bailey did his usual stuff, his super lightning fast kicks, the ultimate weapon, and just his usual stuff. So that moves right into a rest hold for me, which was the decision to have Mike Bailey lose this title. Like, I really like this match. And then the finish.
Also, Kaz didn't have the belt on Dark, so, like,
right.
what?
Oh, that's true too. He was on Dark
or
at
Elevation
while we were at Dynamite, and he did not bring the title with him, or wasn't billed as the champion or anything. So I just don't understand. Mike Bailey, the whole point of this was he's on pace to have the most title defenses since Christopher Daniels did, and Kaz, at the end of the day, yes, he's a talented performer. He's on the downside. He's a mid-card at best on AEW, and so he comes in and derails a guy in Bailey who, in my opinion, has been having a fantastic run with this belt. He's been defending it constantly in really
I saw Kaz's option seeing
high-quality matches, yes, and just I think he was building this title. For me, he was really, whoever was going to take it from him, it's going to help them out. But it's Kaz. Like, no offense, Kaz. You're really good in the ring, but you're Kaz. So I just don't.
He should be the honor hunter.
I heard some speculation that maybe Bailey's like going to do a bunch of indie stuff or whatever, but I hope that there's a reason, because if this is just them going, yes, this is a good idea, I don't agree. It really bothered me. Really good match. The hot opener I'm looking for, but do not like the result at all. And that will come back up again with not liking results of things in another rest hold in a minute. But first, another high spot from Bound for Glory, as I mentioned kind of in the news, was Mia Yim's performance against Mickie James. So Mickie James is doing this last rodeo thing where either she will lose a match and retire, or keep winning and win the title and then leave then. So obviously that's not ending with Mia Yim, right? So Mickie James is winning this. So I have to say that Mia Yim, like, I would say she got like 85% of this match, and she looked really good on offense, basically sustained offense almost this entire match. Um, because I think they're like, we have to make up for the fact that you have no chance of winning this. So I actually thought, like Mia Yim, who again, we're not the biggest fan, I thought she looked really good here and got to showcase a whole bunch of offense, and it was just
I
Mickey.
saw that clip where they smoochy, and then she hits that crappy move from the top rope,
Right.
the seated senton.
But I really enjoyed the match. Mickey James won.
Get it? She did that to Trish Stratus.
Right. That's right.
LOL.
LOL. That was a great angle back in the day.
Like
Mickey James was awesome.
over
The whole stalker.
over a decade ago.
Yeah, it was great.
And now she's doing it again.
Resthold for me at Bound for Glory. The Call Your Shot Gauntlet match.
Tell us about the winner.
That's part of the problem. But it was just too long. It was 30 minutes, which I get
Was there anything was there anyone good in it? I mean, surprise wise, because sometimes there's like something interesting at least.
I don't remember being pleasantly surprised by anyone.
Tommy Dreamer.
It was like a boring battle royal, right? They're kind of boring, and again, the finish, they decided to have Bully Ray win this, which made me angry. So this is the second result on this show that I vehemently disagree with. You could have elevated somebody new and different, right?
I saw a Chris Bay extended.
Yes, we had Macklin in there. You had Bobby Fish in there, but we're gonna go with Bully Ray, right? I don't understand this.
Wasn't relevant impact
decision.
for like a decade.
And he's old, and he's not I mean, maybe I'm wrong. He's not a draw for me. Maybe he's a draw for somebody else. But this made me angry. To me, Macklin's ready to be elevated to the next level, or you could really give Bobby Fish some credibility right off the bat from getting there.
Even if he loses, right?
But no, we're going to do the whole leaning into bringing back people from history who I don't care. Bully Ray. You were really cool in Impact. I'm not going to lie.
And let me just say, you think he's taking a J driller?
Right.
Nah.
Probably
or
not.
C4 Spike. Whatever.
Right.
Tiger
so,
Driver.
A, the match was not very interesting and long, and B, Bully Ray won.
I saw that and
anger.
I was like, what?
Anger. Super mega high spot. Jordan Grace, Masha Slamovich. Oh my God, I love this match so much. I'm going to probably make you watch it at some point. This, again, my women's match of the year by a pretty wide margin right now. This was the match I wanted to see the most on this show, and yet somehow it's still over-delivered, right? Incredibly physical. Now, your temptation is to go incredibly physical for a women's match. Nah, just incredibly physical. No need to qualify it with anything. These two beat the hell out of each other for, I don't know what it was, 15, 16 minutes or something. All kinds of high-impact stuff all over the place. Jordan Grace won with an avalanche Grace driver that looked pretty cool, but this is a match you need to go out and see, in my opinion. If you don't watch Impact, and I don't blame you for that, it's sometimes a slog, but it's been okay lately. But this match was fantastic, and this is women's wrestling at a very, very high level. So Masha Slamovich, right? They did a great job. It's too bad she lost here because they built her as this undefeated monster and started out just squashing people and then getting a little bit longer matches and facing more experienced talent. I think they did a great job. And then this was obviously her longest, most important match. And she delivered, man. They looked great here. I love this match. So this was my match of the night. And I don't think that's a very common opinion. I saw people really enjoyed this match, but they preferred the next thing I'm going to talk about, which was also a high spot for me. That's the main event. And that was Eddie Edwards and Josh Alexander. You probably know how I feel about Eddie Edwards at this point. If you
I
listen
do
to
not.
the show,
Tell me more.
He's a very solid.
All I've heard from you is that you love his theme song.
Oh my God, worse.
His faction is your favorite.
So he's a very solid hand. Very
Dolph Ziggler.
Good in ring. His faction is go away for me. His promos as the leader of that faction, I find just super generic.
Dare you? His faction is Matt Taven, for God's sake.
Exactly.
So calm yourself.
But hey, fair is fair. Eddie Edwards and Alexander, they followed that women's match with an incredible match of their own. This one was 28 minutes or something like that. Just a super steady pace. Great action inside and outside of the ring. Also super physical. Lots of high impact stuff. Alexander obviously wins here, as you knew he would. They're not putting the belt on Eddie Edwards at this point.
Well,
No
they put a belt on
offense.
Kaz, so anything's
True.
possible.
So C4 Spike to win it. Just an incredible match. The final 2 matches of this show and the opener, all of them were better than anything that was on Extreme Rules, as far as I'm concerned. You could argue the opener on Extreme Rules and the opener of this, maybe the Extreme Rules was better, but like for me, the 2 final matches were fantastic. So, and that's great to say because I just want more good wrestling. I don't care what company it comes from. So if they're for their quote unquote WrestleMania putting on 2 matches of this caliber, one after the other, I'm pretty fine with it. Anything from you? I only have a couple from NXT, and that's it for me.
Mostly just main roster. So I have 1 from Raw, or actually, no, sorry, 2 from Raw, 2 from SmackDown, so I can kind of break those up with yours.
Good. Do it.
Restholds. So I saw some of the DX stuff. It was really lame.
I heard it was really lame.
Yeah, I remember Marco was talking about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, if he doesn't like it, then it must have been really bad.
True.
Like,
he
and
loves
it looked
retro
really bad
stuff
too, because like the one thing I saw from Instagram was like, so Triple H was like talking to the DX guys like, because I guess because obviously he's in charge, so he's like, he's telling like, guys, you can't like cuss anymore, and like do like all the DX, and they're like, and so they cuss anyways, and it's like, it's just so stupid. And then Triple H is in with DX later, and it's like, I just hate it.
It's that juvenile stuff that like WWE does, right?
And they're older than you are, probably. Like,
is that possible? Are there people older than me?
I don't think so.
I did see that, and it was lame.
Yes, and then there's the Miz and Loomis segment again, like Miz's birthday thing, and Loomis like,
oh, did he draw him something?
A nut, or like, and he attacked him, and like, just be done with this already. Can it end already? Like, honestly. Anyways, all right. So then you
NXT, we haven't seen the whole thing yet, but I just had 2 high spots. I think you had a rest hold from it because you were annoyed by the Sanga.
Oh, I hated
the promo
that.
Backstage. Who was it? The one that's hurt. Ulisa Leon is hurt, so it's the other one. Feroz.
Yes, that's the
you
one.
Did not enjoy that interaction.
Sucked.
But anyways, my high spot was, and you watched it with me, so you might agree. Axiom Fraser was a good match, right? It's the 3rd and final match between the 2, and it earns. Fraser ended up winning, kind of anticlimactically with like some kind of roll up thing, right? But
right.
So that wins him a spot in the ladder match, I think.
From what I saw, it looked pretty good. They had some nice like back and forth.
They work really well together, fast paced, evenly matched. It wasn't my favorite of the 3 they've had because this was to settle that. But I think it was still a really strong match, right? And this is the kind of stuff that I'd like to see more on NXT, where it's, 2 talented people who are veterans, might be a strong word for Fraser, but like at least have been wrestling for a while and are good. Like this is the kind of stuff I would prefer. So I like that match. The only other high spot, I don't know if you agree, I thought Pretty Deadly were kind of entertaining.
I thought that was all right.
I even forget what capacity they were.
They were on the balcony.
And they were acting like, I don't know, like typical American dudes with their cowboy hats and their body paint on, right? I don't know. They're just funny to me. They feel like a main roster act. Like they're polished, they're ready. They're not Bryan Danielson in the ring, but for a WWE tag team, they're more than good enough to be out of there and on main roster. So I don't feel like they'll be on NXT very long, and I find them very entertaining. Anything else from you?
Just a couple things from SmackDown. I wasn't sure. I kind of put it as impartial, but I watched the Bray Wyatt promo.
Yeah, I heard. I could listen. I heard the audio as you were watching.
So it was like his whole thing was like this is the real Bray Wyatt now. He's like just coming in as himself and like
right. Sounded like almost babyface.
Kind of like pretty babyface, I'd say. I think the fans have always like brought him back, kind of thing.
Right.
And so I thought it was alright. Like it was on. And then like at the end, it like the lights went out. He kind of got cut off, and then like on the Tron, it was like someone talking to him, like they were wearing the mask that he came in on with at Extreme Rules, and they're like saying like something like come with them or whatever, like his life's over, like I don't know. It was really weird. I shouldn't be surprised by that.
No, of course, that's kind of what they're going for.
So I thought it was interesting. I mean, at least it builds intrigue for his next one, and so that's interesting. And then Resthold looks like we're getting Strowman and Omos feuding.
Wow, is that ever something I do not? Now, that's not true, because it might be so bad that I want to watch it.
That's true, like an Andre versus...
Like a guy who's terrible versus a guy who's like, okay, I guess? I don't know.
And Rey Mysterio has been traded, or he struck a deal with Triple H apparently to go to SmackDown, so now I guess he's getting away from his child.
This makes sense. We all would like to get away from our children,
Mm-hmm.
So it's a noble goal to have.
Amen.
So my question is, from that Bray Wyatt promo then, do you think, because it had some babyface notes to it, I thought, do you think he will actually be babyface, or is this just, we know he's going to get cheered when he first comes back?
I
So
think
let's
it could
do
be
a bit
that,
of
or
this,
like,
and then he'll reveal
or maybe
he's
he gets
still...
corrupted by whatever that is, or like something like this is a thing, but he kind of like it kind of gets twisted, maybe just like whatever that was.
Because I think they know he's going to be cheered, right? At least for a while,
Everyone
because
knows Bray.
people are thrilled to have him back. So I wonder if it's just like, we'll make him look like a baby face for a little bit and then suddenly flip it. I don't know. But yeah, so we don't have anything for figuring it out. So I think we might be done, and we're early. So this tells you, because we're at an hour 24, that's just the Dynamite review not being as thorough, right?
Oh
Because
yeah,
that would add
because
like
that would be like that'd
10
be way longer.
another
Yeah.
15 minutes or something, probably.
Mm-hmm.
So this was one of our shortest episodes ever, coming in at under an hour and a half.
So we went to Dynamite.
So hopefully you didn't mind sort of a different setup this week. But again, we just didn't get the time to watch Dynamite on TV and take our normal notes. So we just kind of thought we'd quickly go through it. But we do appreciate you taking any time out of your week to listen to us talking about wrestling. We will be definitely back next week for episode 118. I don't think there's anything planned in between that. So
Yeah, which is a Tuesday Dynamite.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? Watch NXT or Dynamite?
As if.
Considering you don't even watch NXT.
Yeah.
You just happened to be there when I had it on today.
I literally groaned.
You did. So yeah, we'll be checking out all our usual stuff. We'll talk about NXT and probably Impact and AEW.
I guess we can preview Halloween Havoc.
We could do that as well. So that sounds like what we'll do.
Not saying I'll review it, but I'll preview it.
Correct. Right. So anyways, we hope you have a great week. We hope to see you back here next Saturday for episode 118. And until then, take care.
12:01.